Hi. Hi, Diane. Always the first one here. Uh, yes, there's somebody else here too. This is Shirley from Shirley's World Vlog. And Thursday evenings is when I come on at 7 o'clock every week. And it's basically just a time to chat about anything you want to chat about. I have a few things written down here that I want to tell you about. But it's sort of just an open discussion about anything. So I usually have a group on that comes on Sundays too. Sundays at 4 o'clock. Those are my two times that I come on. Sundays at 4 and Thursdays at 7. So tonight, I'm basically going to talk about things that's happened in the last couple days and gardening, because that was a big part of it. I finally got my garden in, what I have to put in it. Because Samantha yesterday came, and because I was having my deck power washed, we couldn't go anywhere, which turned out to be a good thing. Because that's how I got my garden all finished up, or almost finished up. The hard parts anyway, that I can't, it's so hard for me to do any of the lifting, and there was so many bags. 2 cubic feet of garden soil or garden potting soil is very heavy. It's the biggest bag of the miracle, I forget what you call it. You know, that basic potting soil mix. I had bought like 6 bags of it, and I've used only 2. I had 4 bags left, and I had to fill 4 more grow bags, 10-gallon grow bags, and my whole new raised bed. I bought one of those galvanized steel, big oval 2x4 foot garden beds. I bought 2 of them, but I only put 1 together. I think that's, basically is what I'm going to do this year. I'll save the next one for next year, for next season. If the rapture doesn't come, I will have another garden bed out there. But I planted some things in the ground too, so I plan on having everything up off the ground, basically, at some point. So, what did I plant? I did find seed potatoes. So I planted little red potatoes in the grow bags. 2 of the grow bags have potatoes, red potatoes, and 2 of the grow bags have the yellow, the little yellow, the buttery kind of potatoes. Yeah, you can put even up to 3 in about a 10-gallon. I put 2 in 2 of them and 3 in 2 of them. So 4 bags of potatoes and 1 bag of sweet potatoes. I put 1 sweet potato in the ground and 1 in the grow bag, and we'll see how the sweet potatoes go. Hi, Donna. Bumblebee said she's going to be here tonight too. Yeah. So, what else? Peppers. I have green bell peppers and yellow banana peppers. Those are planted. I have red onions. I planted a whole row of those in the raised galvanized steel bed. cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, regular cucumbers, acorn squash, and butternut squash. Those have to be some sort. I planted those in the raised bed right on the edge so they can crawl over the edge and trail, or I may put some sort of a fencing up there so they can crawl up on it. Yeah. So yes. Hi, Debbie. Debbie's here. Shelley Shack's here. Hi. Yes, I see you finally made it. I was just thinking about you that I hadn't seen you in a bit. Yeah, how are you doing? Yes, I finally got my garden in. Now I'm going to concentrate. I still have garden soil left, so I can do some more pots. But I'm going to buy some hanging pots. And what I do is I buy the big, beautiful hanging pots, which are on sale right now because it's so late in the season. We had such a cold spring. I didn't feel like gardening. So I didn't get started for, a month later than I usually start. So things are on sale. That's the one good thing. Somebody online said that it's good to go to the big box stores now, like Home Depot. What are the other ones? Sometimes Walmart will have things out in the parking lot too. But Home Depot for sure. My Home Depot, they have so many plants that they've spread out into the parking lot. So there's a whole area. They like to get rid of those before it gets too hot because it's not good for the plants and nobody wants to go out there and water when it gets to be 90 degrees. So they put everything on sale. I heard someplace they were on sale for 75% off their flats. So I have to go there, possibly tomorrow. I am basically out of chicken food, their regular food. So they have to eat table scraps, which they would rather have probably anyway. Today, that's what I gave them. And yeah, here's what the treat was for the chickens today. They had spinach, raw spinach. They had raw romaine lettuce. They had some sliced tomatoes. They had the tops off of strawberries. I didn't have any more blueberries to give them. They had macaroni. The macaroni I had left. Now I've just made some macaroni and cheese, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. They can have macaroni and they can have macaroni and cheese, just not too much of it. But they had macaroni. They had, I sprinkled some cat food, hard cat food, the kibbles in there. They like that. They like dog food, cat food, any of that stuff. They're omnivores. They eat meat. They eat, and vegetables. The only thing you shouldn't really feed them is onions, and they won't eat them anyway. And citrus fruits aren't good for them, but they won't eat it anyway. They know what to eat. In that way, animals are actually smarter than people. Usually animals don't eat what they're not supposed to eat. Yeah. Hi, Jeff. Yeah, I'm glad you stopped by again. Yes, I had my deck power washed yesterday. He came around noon, about 11 o'clock in the morning. they power washed. This is the guy that also cleans windows. He does multiple things, but he's really good at the things he does. He has the power washer and he cleans windows, he cleans, and yesterday he was cleaning my deck. It's full of that, you know how the wood gets that green mold algae stuff on it because I don't have any protection on my wood, which I should have done when it was first built, and I didn't. So, yeah, it had this algae on it, which makes it very slippery when it gets wet. So he came with his helper guy and they power washed. It seemed like it took, my deck isn't that big. They were power washing for a couple hours. They got it to look brand new. And he also had splashed on my siding and my windows and my fencing. He power washed everything. He power washed that side of the house, the windows. He power washed my picket fence. He power washed anything that he splashed on, he power washed it off. Yeah, he's great. So he's coming back in the fall to wash my windows inside and out this year. And Jolene, my dog walker, was here and got the dog and took her for a walk. And Samantha was here. So we went out to the garden and got all that. She does all the heavy lifting things for me. So got all my garden put in. Now I just have to go buy some flats of flowers and get my porches to look pretty. The only one I've done is I did the window box. Well, it's not a window box. It's on my railing on the kitchen porch. I got those little tiny, they're like miniature petunias. They're called million bells. That's not the real name. It starts with the C, but I'll never tell you the real name of them. But they call them million bells. And they sort of trail too. So when they get a little bigger, they'll trail out and look really pretty. They put them in hanging pots a lot. So, Bumblebee, hi. 10 in the chat already. Well, hi and welcome, everybody. I've been working my way through this big surprise box that I showed you the last few times that I was on. We opened a box. Yes, I have an awful lot of ironing to do, but right now I'm listing the things that don't need ironed, and I'm listing 3 a day, and I have 3 days in drafts standing, waiting here. So that's always good to be 3 days ahead always. Yeah, so I moved my clothes rack out of the way of the front door, so it's easy to go to my front garden. All I have to do is go out my front door of the old part of the house here. It's right there. And I'm right on the old porch, and I just have to go down 2 steps, 3 steps to the garden. However, going back and forth through that door as many times as we did yesterday, I never looked up. I'll tell you about what I saw when I looked up in a second, but do you remember me telling you about the golfer that hit a golf ball, which is the one of the tees of the golf course, not the tee, one of the greens is over here. It's right over here off my property, of course, but not too far. It's maybe 100 feet off off my property. And he must have been chipping up to the green and way overshot. And the golf ball, I was in here when this happened, and I heard the glass break. And I didn't see anything as far as the windows and the door right there. But when I opened the door, my big old door that's on the front of this old house, the old storm door that's about, let's see, how many panes is it? It's lots of little panes. It's 3 across and about 6 down. So that many little panes of glass. Little panes like this. With on the bottom row of the pane was a broken window, and the golf ball was inside the door between the regular door and the storm door. And I thought, how in the earth did somebody, because it's facing exactly the opposite of the green. And I go outside, out the door, and look over, and there's a guy right over here, and he's looking on the ground, and you can tell he's looking for his golf ball. And I held the golf ball up, and I said, "Is this yours?" And he says, "Yes. Where'd you find it?" And I says, "Inside my door." And we stood there and looked, and it had to have bounced. He had to have hit my picket fence at exactly the right angle to make it fly through and break the window of my door. Yeah, it was like an amazing feat. Now, he wanted to fix my door and everything, but that would have been a huge thing because this is an old antique door, and I said no. I probably should have said yes, but anyway, that brings me to how this little thing got up on the ceiling of, I took a picture of it, but I don't have it on the computer. I'm going to show you what I saw. Hope you can see this. When I look up, this is an area that's between the one door and the other door. Can you see that little thing? It's stuck to the top, like the ceiling top. And here's another. This is where it shows it better. See, that's how big it is. It's only like 2 inches, an inch and a half to 2 inches across. It's just little. Well, by the looks of it, I knew sort of what it was. I didn't know what kind it was. I had found a couple wasp nests. Different wasps make different kinds of nests. There's the paper wasp, and they make a different looking nest than this. It has lots of little cells. It looks like an upside down umbrella with like little, almost like beehive holes in it. That's all I can, but it's made out of like paper. They make this paper stuff out of, I don't know, with their saliva and whatever. But this wasn't that. This was a mud wasp, mud dopper. They're called mud doppers. They make it with mud. This little nest. They can make them big too. They can make them like this big. But this is just a little one. And the mud dopper wasps are a good wasp. They're beneficial beneficial in your garden. They help pollinate, number one, but number two, they kill bad spiders, especially black widows. That's their favorite. And the reason they do that is they paralyze the spider, bring it back to the nest, and they've laid eggs in this nest. Am I freaking people out? They lay eggs. Let me start. The female builds the nest. Female mud dopper wasp. They're not aggressive at all. They build the nest, and then they lay eggs. There's cells in there, and they lay eggs. Then they start looking for spiders, and they paralyze the spider, bring the spiders back, and put them in these cells so that when the little baby wasps hatch or whatever they do from these spider eggs, they have something to eat, something fresh. That's kind of gross. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, you have a tiny one on your screen. You were stung multiple times by wasps in the past by a child. There's a lot of wasps that are aggressive. These mud dopper wasps are solitary wasps. They're not social. The other kind are called social wasps. Like the paper wasps are more social wasps, and there's other types too. But the mud dopper wasp is a solitary wasp. You'll never see another wasp with her. And they very seldom, unless you're going to step on her or you try to catch her with your hand, they don't sting. They can. And when a wasp stings, can sting multiple times. And the mud dopper wasp has a very mild sting compared to other wasp stings. I learned this all today. Yeah, I was stung multiple times by fire ants in Florida. That wasn't fun either. The boys hit the nest with a bat, and then you came along. Yeah. Most people try to scrape them off, these mud ones, but it really tells you should just leave them. They're more beneficial than they are harmful. Unless it's in a place where you're going to be smashing it or something all the time. But it hasn't seemed to mind us going in and out of the door at all. And that wasp has found that window, that broken window hole, and that's how she comes in, through the broken window, and has made that nest. And that's how sometimes I'll see her in there, and I'll just push the storm door open, and off she goes again, I suppose, into the garden looking for spiders. Yeah. Now, spiders are beneficial things in your gardens, regular spiders. But it says that they are on the hunt for poisonous spiders for some reason. I don't know. They obviously can tell the difference. Yeah. I learned a lot about wasps today. Shelley says, you're finding too many spiders in the house, and I do not like them. No, I don't particularly like them, but I know spiders aren't bad. I think here we only have two really bad spiders, the brown recluse and the black widow. Oh, you also had a snake that was hanging out by your porch for about a week. Well, I don't mind snakes at all. We don't have poisonous snakes here. Well, we might, but I've never seen one. The gardener snake, yeah. That's fine. I had one as a pet when I was little. Uh, yeah, there's not many animals that I would be worried about. I do not like yellow jackets because actually yellow jackets, that's a type of a wasp too. They are actually nasty mean. Yeah, they're very aggressive, especially when it comes to fall. In the fall, they're even more aggressive. You're not ready for the ugly little things. Yeah. I don't I don't really like big spiders. Like, they can be outside, like, you have garden spiders that look pretty big, but, I just leave them alone because they're doing their job out there. It's Shirley's zoology night. Yeah. Well, that was my story about my little wasp nest that I have. It's gonna stay there because I think it's fine. Obviously, the female, wasp or mud dopper wasp knows how to get into it because I've seen her come in through that hole. They build the nest by bringing I didn't see her build the nest, but they bring in little balls of mud from the garden, probably from out there. We've had so much rain, they'd have no problem getting mud. Which brings about the story of the storm last night. I don't know, did any of you have the storm that we had last evening? Late afternoon last evening. I was sitting in my chair watching TV. I don't know if The Chosen had started yet or not, but I was watching something I had to put on hold because all of a sudden something hit the window. I mean, hard. I looked and I thought I wouldn't have been surprised if it had broken the window. My family room is all windows. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it seems, because I hadn't looked at the weather all day, all of a sudden, it got dark. The wind started to blow like in seconds, so hard. Everything was hitting the window. The trees and the bushes were blowing so hard, and that hit the window. And the dog was, you know, about paralyzed in her bed there. And she comes over, and we just went to the basement. Now, I don't hardly ever go to the basement for anything. Yeah. So we went down to the basement, and I looked at the weather then, and this big front was going across. It was going to last a good hour, and we had big time a wind and thunderstorm warnings, and look for tornadoes because they often spawn off of this big thunderstorms. So yeah, we were in the basement for, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe. Yes, it was quite frightening because it happened so fast. But, by the time it was over and we came back up, I felt safe to go near the windows because it was still raining hard, really hard. Um, by that time, it had gotten dark, and I couldn't really see. I knew a big limb had broken, but I didn't know what else had. I didn't know if I lost a tree. I didn't know what happened. So I didn't know till really in the morning. Or no, my chickens hadn't been put away yet. My chickens, they were in the coop. They were sleeping through it, I'm sure. But I hadn't closed them up. So I had to go out and I didn't see anything close to the house. But the big limb that had fallen, that big noise I heard, it had hit my car because I'm parking in the driveway now because the chipmunks have chased me out of my garage. Kitty, you have a half hour yet. My cat eats at 8 o'clock. 12 in the chat. Yes, please like and subscribe. This isn't like my normal. Well, it could be like my normal Thursday night. I usually talk too much. One story just leads to another. What was I saying? Yeah, and if I stop, I lose my train of thought. My car. Thank you. So these girls have to keep track of me. So I looked my car over as good as I could, and I don't see any damage, but there was a big branch, and it was about this big around, dead, because that's what during the storms, it's like God's pruning the dead branches out of my big oak tree. And yeah, big branch. It was about 10 feet long and about, big and pretty thick, enough to make that big noise when it fell. So I don't know. I can't see on the very top of my car. It didn't break any windows, but I didn't see any damage. There could be some little dings on the very top that I can't see. But yeah, it is frightening. And there were branches down, smaller branches all over the lawn. And my poor deck that had been so nice and clean after the power washer was there in the afternoon is a mess now. It's full of debris from the trees. And yeah. Kitty. She's just going to be a pest. Yeah, so hopefully there's no damage. Sooner or later, I have to go in and get the nuts removed from my fan because if it gets really hot, I can't run my air. I can't run a fan. I can't do anything in there. Okay, I made a list here. As far as the gardening goes, does anybody watch? I've found a gardener on YouTube. It's called Pam's Garden Patch. Pam's Garden Patch. She knows a tremendous amount about gardening and flowers, especially flowers. I enjoy watching her a lot. There's a lot of how to plant YouTube videos out there I've been watching for a good month. And lots about the grow bags, how to plant in the grow bags. Let's see here. I told you about the storm and about the wasp. Okay. I told you I'm out of chicken food, so I have to go to Tractor Supply tomorrow also and buy chicken food, and I might as well, while I'm there, buy the wild bird feed because they eat like crazy, and I'm also almost out of suet. I have a huge amount of tiny, well, they're not tiny, they're the little downy woodpeckers. I have so many of them because they love suet. And I finally got more than one hummingbird. I have at least 3 or 4 hummingbirds coming to my feeders now. Uh, Shelley says, you've been having some health issues. If you would like, yes, for sure. You will be on my prayer list. Bumblebee's been on my prayer list. She's been sick too. Yes, trust in the Lord for sure. And I just want to say, anybody that's worried about what's going on in the world right now, God has this covered. You need to read the Old Testament. It's all in there. Not to worry. You're nervous. I feel it might be the heart. That is very scary because I used to have a lot of palpitations. And the doctor put me on a medication that keeps me from having them so much. But even having palpitations and just thinking about that's very scary. Yes, anything with the heart is very scary. Yes. Ah. You're having edema in your feet and you can't figure it out, so the heart is the next check. Are you on blood pressure medicine? My ankles are horribly swollen by the nighttime. But mine is due to my blood pressure medicine because a lot of blood pressure medicine also includes a diuretic, and I can't take diuretics because it immediately makes my sodium level plummet, and I end up in the hospital because of that. So it's just water. They're normal size in the morning and swollen at night. My doctor isn't concerned about it. You've never had any trouble with blood pressure? Not that, yeah. Well, usually blood pressure, I never had any problem with my blood pressure or my cholesterol. In fact, I had always had low blood pressure until all of a sudden you do. You're too young, Shelley, to have that. Oh, they had you take some blood pressure and your feet got worse. Well, if it didn't have, I'm on amlodipine, which that's known to actually cause swelling in your feet and your ankles. And that's why they normally give you a diuretic with it, but I can't take that. So I don't know why he just doesn't put me on something else. They say it's tarsal tunnel. Oh, but they did a vein and artery check in the legs, and the left one is enlarged. Well, sounds like you're going to the right doctors that are doing these tests for it. But we will certainly put the great physician on to it. I have yeah, tomorrow when I'm out to the Tractor Supply, I think I'll try to make my way to the Home Depot, check on the prices of their flowers. There was a word I wanted to ask you about that the nurse used. What is it? Okay, you're looking it up. I hope I know it. I've probably forgotten more than I ever learned. You know how I have my budget book and I budget out my money and I try to, the Doppler indicated a pulsatile left femoral vein. Well, I know where your left femoral vein is. I don't know the word pulsatile. Is that what you wanted to ask me about? And just Google it. Oh, you did Google it and it scared you. Well, I'll have to look it up afterwards. I will. Pulsatile. Never saw that word before. Tile. That doesn't even sound like a pulsatile. It doesn't even sound like a medical word. An indicator that the vein is more prominent or enlarged. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean bad. We aren't necessarily exactly the same on each side of our body. The list of these glasses are so bad. The list, of course, on Google is not great. Congestive heart failure. Well, there's meds for that. Yes. Your deepest vein valves don't work properly. Oh, that's Bumblebee saying there. Her deepest vein valves don't work properly. I don't know enough about medical stuff to know if it's bad or not. A lot of people, when they get older, now you're young. A lot of people, when they get older, will get congestive heart failure. There's all stages of that. I mean, you can have it and it shows no problems hardly at all, Nadine's here. Hi. Glad you could join us. Oh, reflux. Yeah, I know about that. I hate that. I'm on a med for that I would rather not be on, but, you know, it makes me not have it, so and it's very hard to get off of it once you're on it, like ass effects. Yes, it fixes it, but, yeah. Without taking it, the reflux comes back, and I can't eat and do anything afterwards if I bend over at all. It's painful. It's painful. You don't wanna tell your grandma yet until you know for sure. Now, who are you talking about? Your grandma or you? Why can't I move this thing? Oop. You're talking about no, that was Bumblebee. Okay. Almost got myself kicked off here. She suffers from heart failure as well, but I didn't start until it didn't start till her late 50s. Anyone decorating for the 4th of July? No, I'll probably get a new flag. My flag pole bent. Yeah, it's not good to have the heavy winds with the flagpole, with an aluminum flagpole. So I need a new flagpole, and my flag was all uh, faded. I need a new flag and flagpole. Oh, of course, Shirley has some great hats for Peanut and Penny for the 4th. Uh, uh, yes, Nadine, are you decorating for the 4th? I used to have little things I would hang on my gates out there that would open up like a half a moon, like a flag type thing. And they just got to be in horrible condition. So I don't have them anymore. But yeah. Your decorating days are over. Uh, yeah, basically, I decorate for the fall and Christmas. A little bit for the spring and Easter time, but not that much. Heavens, my my fake poinsettia plants were up till nearly May. Uh, you put flags in your flower pots and buntings on your railings. Yes. Yeah, that's what that's called, a bunting. Yeah. I bet that looks nice. Mm. Nadine, are you on my list of states? Which I don't know where it is at the moment. Every time I clean up things on the desk, I lose things. Here it is. Oh, Nadine. No, I don't have you on here. What state? Where are you from, Nadine? You're not on here. What state are you from? Kitty, not yet. You also covered your outside chairs with flag fabrics. Wow. You're going all out. I found a cushion for my porch chair. It's wild, but it's not flags. They only had one left. I didn't have a choice. When I get my porches all decorated, with flowers, I'll show you, take a picture. Yeah. I used to decorate a lot more than I do now. Kitty, come here. Come here. Come here. Are you going to let me pick you up? Come here. Come here. Shirley wants to see you. Shirley wants to see you. Oh, you're heavy. Here is the cat that makes so much noise. This is Maddie. Yes. She wants to eat all the time. She's diabetic and she gets insulin at 8 o'clock. Yes. There you go. And she sheds constantly. It's hot where you're at. Oh, you're giving some hints, but you haven't. What state are you in? Yeah, you can decorate for us, for me too. I don't know. Here in Ohio, we go up and down. It's going to be real hot for a few days coming up here. It's in the 60s now, which, it's the middle of June, for heaven's sakes. I shouldn't be chilly at night. Any hints for getting back into the listing habit? Your store needs help. What got me back in it was getting that getting that box. I just am not shopping anymore. I was trying to get my inventory down. However, when you don't list, you don't sell. Even if you relist, that works a little bit, but it doesn't work as good as really putting new things on. So when I told my daughter I'd gotten these boxes, Bumblebee's box and this other box, she says, I thought you were trying to get your inventory down. She said, well, If you're going to do it, if you're going to resell, you have to have inventory, evidently. It has to, you have to be, you know, putting new things on all the time. You're trying to get taxes finished, then I hope to get back to listing. My my daughter is still trying to get her taxes. Yes, every year she puts in for whatever you call that extension. She she was going to do it last week or the week before. I wonder if she did. I'll have to ask her. Okay, Illinois. Oh, you're with Bumblebee and everybody else here. All righty. Yes, there's quite a few from Illinois. Diane. Ah, Bumblebee, of course. Diane and you. I thought there was more than that. Look, I have another sign. No, that's it. 3 of you so far. Do I have, who is here? I'm afraid to move the thing down. I almost took somebody's wrench. I almost took your wrench away, Bumblebee, when I was fussing with this. Your listing's going terribly. Shelley says, our little girl is now living with us full time, so life has changed so much in the past month. Ah, I bet. So, I think I get my, oh, I was telling you about my grocery list, my budget. So I put everything that I put away, I make envelopes and I use cash for most things monthly. I go to the bank, take out a certain amount of money, and divide it into envelopes, and that's what I spend. So grocery money, I put so much in my grocery envelope. But I forgot to adjust everything because gardening season's here, and that costs quite a bit, especially when you're starting new beds. You need all that dirt things. And buying plants. I didn't start seeds this spring, which would have saved me a heck of a lot of money. So, yeah. So to buy plants and to buy all that dirt to fill the bin, to fill the beds and pots and things. So what I'm doing this month, this is a no spend grocery month, except for things you have to replace like milk and cream, basic things like that. But as far as everything else, I'm eating out of my pantry and my freezers, which is actually good to do once in a while. Clears things out. So I found that out today when I looked at in my cupboards. This isn't even looking downstairs, but I looked at the 3 boxes of macaroni and cheese in the upstairs cupboard, and the date on them, that when they well, they don't go bad, but you're supposed to use it by a certain date. expiration date was in 2024. So I'm like a year off, but I don't pay much attention to those dates anymore. As long as the box looks all right and the cans look fine. So I made sure that the box was sealed really well, and this is that cheap macaroni and cheese. So I looked in the box and made sure there wasn't any pantry moths, clues in there, which I know well. So it's fine. And the cheese part is that powder stuff. God knows what that is. So that's in a sealed thing too. So I made it. Tastes fine. Looks fine. You boil the macaroni. And the rest you put in your own butter and your own milk. So yeah, it tastes good. I had macaroni and cheese and a can of tomato soup. One of my favorites. Now, a can of tomato soup will last me for 3 meals. I don't eat that much. So, and the macaroni and cheese made a heck of a lot. That's probably good for 5 meals for me with the salad or whatever. So, yeah. So that's what I'm doing this month. Oh, you have to get back to we have to get back to organizing the space to accommodate my reason. Yeah. I did move some things around, but not that much. There's still this room is all these bins. I don't think that's ever going to change, Bumblebee. I just don't have high hopes for this. For getting this room back. Do you hear this cat? It's exactly 8 o'clock. I know what time it is also, Missy. I know. Well, I am going to have to go, but I really, as soon as I start ironing, I'm going to make some videos while I'm ironing. Those will be recorded, but yeah, sooner or later, I will have to iron all this big rack of things I put in the bathroom with my ironing board. So I'm going to go and feed my cat that's just looking at me so sad. So you can see how to do it properly. Oh, I've been ironing for a lot of years, Shirley. Yeah, in fact, I've given up steaming. I can iron faster than I can steam. So, yeah. So I will be back hopefully, well, for sure on Sunday to tell you what I've sold this week. I forgot all about it being Juneteenth. What's it called? June 19th? No, that's what date it is. Juneteenth. Yes, Juneteenth. Okay. It left my mind for a minute. I knew it was. I watched a special on it this morning that was very good. And then I immediately put my bin out for the mailman. Think, not connecting the two that it's a federal holiday. So I'll have 3 things in my bin tomorrow. I sold 2 today. So everybody have a good weekend and happy Juneteenth. And I will be back on Sunday to talk some more. Shirley, I'll be thinking of you. Don't worry. Oh, Brian was home today. Yes, God bless. God bless everybody. Read your Bibles. God is good. He keeps his word. It's all in the Bible. See you Sunday. Bye.